Hey, good morning, YouTubers. Thanks for subscribing and tuning in with me today. This is Cal on Wing and a Prayer coming to you from the little man cave. And today is Wednesday, and it's time for our Wednesday video, Insight for Life. And so today, I want to talk to you about mistakes. Making mistakes. In life, all of us are going to face that time when we've made a mistake. Maybe it's a big mistake, maybe it's a little mistake, but we all make mistakes. But I want to talk to you about something. My dad always taught me, he said, if you make a mistake, that's not terribly life-threatening, but, get up and correct your mistake and make it right. But if you make the same mistake over and over and over again, then that speaks something of your character. There's something wrong why you're making the same mistake over and over and over again. I know there are people who are in abusive relationship, and the abuser seems to, no matter how many relationships he's in, how many different people he's in a relationship with, it seems like the abuse continues on and on and on. And making those same mistakes means that there's a deep character flaw that needs to be corrected. We all make mistakes. We make mistakes at work. We make mistakes in our marriage. We make mistakes raising our kids. We all do that. It's just common where it's going to happen. But how you handle those mistakes really tells the difference in your life. When you make a mistake and you recognize it, sometimes you have to go to people and say, look, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I really goofed up here. I need you to forgive me. Let's go on from here. I'll make sure it never happens again, and go on from there and regain their trust and confidence. Sometimes we make big mistakes, and they can affect our life for a long, long time. Those are the mistakes that we need to be careful about. Sometimes we make those kind of mistakes because we haven't thought things through. We don't spend enough time contemplating about what we're getting ready to do or how we're going to behave. Sometimes we act on the spur of the moment and then later regret it. We've all said things that as soon as they leave our mouth, we say, oops, I shouldn't have said that, I regret that. And those are the kind of things where you have to go to people and say, I'm sorry, and let's get these things right and make them right. But sometimes you can make a mistake that are life-changing, that will have a long-term consequences, and those I want you to be careful about making. Sometimes you may have to go to your spouse and say, I'm getting ready to do this, or we're getting ready to enter into maybe buying a home, buying a car, doing something that affects the entire family. That's when you need to sit down, you need to discuss things with somebody close to you, and make sure that you're not going to make a mistake, because they can affect you forever. It can affect your credit. Maybe you jump out on the spur of the moment and you buy a car or you buy a house that you can't afford, and later you say, how am I going to get out of this? Selling a house is not always easy sometimes. Getting out from underneath a car usually will cost you money in the long run and affect your credit. So you need to be careful about those kind of mistakes. And when you realize you've made that kind of mistake, then there's nothing else that you can do except do whatever it takes to correct that mistake. And like I said, if you buy a car on the spur of the moment and you go in debt deeper than what you realize, and you can't make the payments in the long run, then the only thing you can do is to sell that car and bite the bullet and lose some money probably, and go on and learn from your lesson and don't do it again. I see young people all the time as a counselor. I've seen young people who come to me and want pre-marriage counseling, and in talking to them, they're nowhere near ready to get married. And sometimes I've had to counsel them and say, hey, you need to hold off, you need to wait, you need to look at this thing. Maybe it's a job issue. Maybe they don't have jobs. They've not thought through how they're going to support themselves, where they're going to live, how they're going to buy groceries, how they're going to get around, that kind of thing, and counseled with them. And then they've gone ahead and done it. And I've had couples that have come back to me and say, hey, we should have listened to you. We made a mistake. We jumped into things way too early. And so you got to think those things through. A good portion of the time, like I said, our mistakes affect people around us, and sometimes those people are our loved ones, our immediate family. And so we've got to think things through. Life isn't all about just you and I. We live in an environment where we have loved ones around us, and we interact with them and they interact with us, and our lives are intertwined and our lives affect each other. And so we have to be very careful about the things that we do, lest we make a mistake that affects them, maybe breaks their heart or breaks their trust in us or something like that. And those can be devastating. Those can be life-changing. And once you break somebody's trust in you, then sometimes it's extremely hard to rebuild that trust in people for you again. So I want to encourage you just to think hard about your actions. Think before you act. You know the old saying, look before you leap. So before you enter into any life-changing, long-term situations in your life, think it through, talk it through. Again, I've had to talk to couples about, well, where are you going to go to church after you're married? Well, I'm Catholic and she's Baptist, and we'll work it out. No, you've got to work it out beforehand. You've got to decide those things. So everything, your spiritual life, your emotional life, your physical life, all those things can be affected by a simple mistake that you make. And so contemplate your surroundings, contemplate your environment. And when I say that, I'm talking about your physical environment, your spiritual and your emotional environment that affects your life and affects those around you. Think long and hard before you act. If you make a mistake, be quick to correct that mistake. And sometimes other people make mistakes that affect our life, and sometimes I've had to bite the bullet and take the responsibility of saying, look, maybe I messed up here. Maybe I am at partial fault of why you acted this way, and if I have, then please forgive me on my part on what I've done to cause this situation to happen. So I just want to leave you with that today. Think about who you are. Think about the people you work with, your loved ones, people that you're in a relationship with. Think about them and their life and how your actions are going to affect them. And if there's things that you need to change in your life to keep making the same mistakes over and over, then make those changes. Be man or woman enough to make those changes in your life that can make you a better person and help you not to make the same mistakes over again. So understand this. We live a life that we are inevitably going to make a mistake. Some small, some big, some minor, some will be correctable in the moment, and some you'll make that'll affect you for a lifetime. And so be careful. Be careful what you do. Be careful what your hands do. Be careful what your mouth speaks. Be careful where your feet take you, because all those things in life affect those around us. So I hope maybe this short little video will be a help to you to contemplate who you are, what you do in life, and how it affects those around you. So again, if you make a mistake, correct it, ask for people's forgiveness, apologize when necessary. When you make a mistake that needs some physical action, take that physical action and get the mistake corrected. Go on, get your life back on track, and start living a life where mistakes come fewer and less often. And it can and it will happen if you contemplate your life and every situation that you enter into, and what you say and what you do around others. So thanks for tuning in today. Hope this helped you. Tune in Saturday, this coming Saturday. It'll be the end of my 14th week of my OMED program, and hope to have some better results than I had last week, but I'm working on it long term. So thanks for tuning in. This has been Cal on Wing and a Prayer, coming to you from Little Man Cave. I'll see you next Wednesday for another Insight for Life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm out of here. Bye.